Hi, my name is Nicole Bradick. So my company, for those of you who don't know me, is a design and dev shop focused exclusively on legal tech. And if you do know me, you know that I spend about half my time talking about the virtues of technology to improve access to justice, and the other half of my time cautioning against over-reliance on the use of technology for access to justice. My biggest gripe with our tech is that we seem to be on a mission to create more and more, and we're taking a big shortcut. And that big shortcut is in proper design support. As Chaz mentioned, we're sort of skipping UX as a major issue. And from where I come from, the only thing that matters is the interface. Chaz took my line, but you can have you have the best features, but if your interface sucks, nobody's ever going to see it. And this is a big problem in legal tech, because even if you can get somebody to the absolute, every resource they probably need, if your interface stinks, it doesn't matter. They're not going to get there. This is true with our tech. It's also true with our system. And if we think about every single touch point that somebody has with our system, our interface is terrible. We're doing a bad job. Think about interactions with the police. Most people associate that with words like shame and failure. Think about the court system. I mean, I think our lunchtime presenter did a really good job highlighting some of the problems we have with that interface. Our court system is just full of a dizzying array of inefficiencies and barriers and challenges. So every part of that interaction is too hard for everybody. So it doesn't matter what somebody can benefit from by using the court system, the interface is too bad. They're not going to get there. An A2J lab study that I like is one that shows, was trying to deal with the issue of creditors and the amount of default judgments there are. And the big problem they found was the summons that was sent is too confusing. It was too clear. But just by changing that interface, that one tiny micro interaction with people and making the blob go out in a mailing, they were able to double the amount of people who showed up for court. It's just a tiny, tiny change in how we're presenting and interfacing with the public that made that big of a change. So how do we solve this problem? How do we make our interfaces, our technology, our system more delightful, more intuitive? We can have police with rotisserie chickens, But I think that in our system, we can look to the principle and philosophy around interface design in software to help us with our systems. So in interface design, a successful interface is one that gets you through the funnel to the end goal, whatever that feature is that we're providing, with minimal frustration and while building trust along the way. So the core principle in user interface design is clarity. Somebody should always know sort of where they are in the system, what's going to happen to them, what has happened, what are the consequences. Another core principle in interface design is that you should always lead the user. The user shouldn't have to think about what button to click next, what to do next. A good interface takes you through that. And I have a little story, a small example of this. I recently got a traffic ticket, because you're supposed to apparently inspect your car once every few years, more than once every few years. So I challenged that ticket, because I'm a lawyer, and I have no idea what's happening. I don't know if I'm supposed to go to court. I don't know if the police might be waiting for me when I get home. I have no idea, and that was 2 months ago. So we're failing in clarity and in leading the user. Consistency is the most important UI principle when we want to create trust. And trust is a really important part of our system. And that means you need to have internal and external consistency. So when we have a system where some people get one experience and other people get another experience, what we breed is mistrust in our system. This is a really important interface, a really important way that we talk to the public about our system. And we're failing there too. And that's probably the most challenging one to fix. Efficiency is pretty critical. You don't want to throw up any barriers to get somebody through your system that are unnecessary, that don't add value to get them to that end point. Try to go through, represent yourself in eviction court, and you'll see all the inefficiencies that are involved. So a core concept here is if it's too hard for the user, it's your problem, it's not their problem. And I'm not the first person to say that the system is designed by lawyers for lawyers, and we have not designed the system for the users. And I think that we think that tech is going to be our savior. Tech is not going to be our savior. The LSC report recently showed that only 9% of low-income people go online to get help with their legal issues. So I think we need to give that up as being the savior. I do think a lot of this is solvable. I think if we apply good UI principles to all of these various touch points, we're going to get more people participating in the system. And if we have a system where people are not actively participating, then we don't have a very good system at all. So I really encourage everybody here. I think the judge said it best. There's the ugly work. And we can use the sexy work, the principles from the sexy work, to do the ugly work. And so I think I actually did it without, going over or causing problems that nobody hissed.